New bike, the 1978 Yamaha YZ400. Seller says it runs, but you never know for sure, so let's see if it gets fired up here. Well, it fired for a second there. Seemed like maybe the carburetor's clogged. It kind of pittered out and then wouldn't kick over again. So probably need to check in. Let's take a look at a few things here. Go over the basics. Check the spark plug boot. Spark plug seems tight. Oh. The boot just pulled right off there. I wonder if we were having a spark issue. I can see a piece of the wire there, so maybe we'll just try screwing the boot back on. Seems to fit nice. Screw this down a little tighter. Should probably recheck spark now that the boot fell off, just to make sure that we got it back on there correctly. Plug was tight. That's good. Plug's got a nice color. The seller might not have been lying about it running. Alright, let's see if we got spark here. Oh yeah. Bike's got good spark. Alright, let's get this plug back in here. Alright, before we put the plug in, let's do a quick compression test. Just make sure that the compression's high enough for it to run. It didn't seem like it was having a compression problem before, but you never know. We got the plug out, it's always good to just check anyway. Most challenging part, seeing if we can't find a spot for this dial gauge to rest. That's pretty good. Definitely some compression in there. I gotta take this thing off the stand, it's just way too high to kick over while it's up there. Ugh. Always do stuff like that. They got this little lock on here. You forget to pull it down all the way and you just get a little compression. It just shoots the dial off. Oh yeah, this bike's got compression. More than enough compression to get this thing started. Get this plug back in here. Hopefully that's it with the spark issues. Next, let's check the oil. I don't know if this bike has a dipstick or not, so I got a zip tie. Helps reach down in there kind of deep. Clean off some of this crud first before you open it. Don't want any of that falling in there. Oh, it does have a dipstick. And I don't see any oil at all. Nope, still nothing. That's not good. Alright, let's reach this zip tie down here, see if there's anything at all. No oil at all? Oh, okay. There's a little bit of oil in here. Actually, this oil looks pretty clean, which is weird because there's no oil in here. Alright, maybe there's a little bit of oil. It looks fresh though. Next up, let's get this carburetor off of here. My guess is the reason it started up, then died real quick and wouldn't start again is maybe there's a clog in the carburetor. Seems like a pretty easy carb to get out. These older Yamahas are pretty much the easiest bikes I've ever worked on as far as getting a carburetor out. Let's just check this boot. Oh, this boot's nice and rubbery still. That's good. It hasn't hardened up. Just get a little bit of room here. There we go. Yeah, this boot's nice. I like how it's got this little dust cap on the top of the throttle slide. Keeps everything up here nice and clean. Probably nice when you're out riding in the desert, that way you don't get a bunch of sand in here if you have to make any carb adjustments. Slide looks good. Alright, take a look at this carb. It's got a bunch of two-stroke oil on it. Try and clean some of this up here. I always try and clean the parts as much as possible before I take them apart. That way nothing gets inside of it, clogs up. There we go. Spitting a little bit of the old fuel out. Try and drain what's left here. That looks good. Not too dirty. Let's get this float bowl off of here. These lines are a little rough, but not too bad. Obviously the ends have seen better days. They look a little cooked, but that's fine. These are just vent tubes anyway. The fuel line seems pretty new. I don't know if the previous owner probably kept an eye on that. Definitely seems newer than these vent tubes.
Thank you for doing that.
It's always a good sign when these screws are in good shape. Sometimes you try to get the float bowl off and these screws are all stripped out. It can be a headache. This carb seems pretty good so far from the outside. It does seem like this bike was running. Yeah, look at that. Floats look good. little bit of fuel. Get that out of here. This thing's pretty oily. I wonder if it's got a leak somewhere. Carb cleaner works wonders. I like this little tool, helps get the jet out. Also helps when you're tightening it because you can't really over tighten with this thing. The rubber just kind of slides. Yeah, there we go. That was in there a little tight. Let's take a look. Got the main jet here. It looks nice and clear. I always like running a brush through these things. You never know if there's a piece of something stuck in there. It's always good while you have it apart just to double check everything. Yeah, looks good. That looks pretty clean. There's a little bit of some gunk around the edge here. Just use a brush, kind of clean it out a bit. You don't want any of this stuff breaking free and clogging up a jet. It's good to just clean everything when you have it apart. Let's get this pilot jet. And it's too small for my screwdriver. Well, I don't have a smaller screwdriver, so I'm just gonna clean this jet while it's in. Not the best thing, but what are you gonna do? I need to get a smaller screwdriver. It seemed like it was clogged a bit. Straighten this out. My guess is there was a pilot jet clog. That's why the bike died and why it wouldn't start again. It never really fired up. It kind of ran for a second, just petered out. And get this cleared out. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, I can see daylight through the pilot jet. Let's get this main jet reinstalled. Definitely seemed like it was getting fuel to the carb. I don't think there's an issue with the needle jet. Tighten this down. Yeah, this rubber cap just kind of turns. It prevents you from over tightening. It's nice. All right, get this pin back in here. Other than the pilot jet, this carb was very clean already. Yeah, that seems to be working properly. Let's get the bowl back on. This is such a simple carburetor. I love these two-stroke Yamahas. They're so easy to work on. Gasket seemed alright. If there's a leak, I'm not sure that it's coming from the float bowl. You never know. I'm not going to replace these lines for now. They're a little crusty, but I'm sure they're working fine. Get everything nice and snug. I think this gasket's okay. You can never really tell for sure until you fill the thing with fuel. But if there was a leak from here, it wouldn't have got the whole carburetor oily. So my guess is the leak's coming from somewhere higher. Let's get this reinstalled and see. Yeah, make sure you line this groove up. There you go. Alright, there we go. Put this little dust cap back on. This thing's so cool, I wish all my bikes had this. The rubber seems really good still. I bet this thing was never stored outside. Yeah, someone definitely liked this bike. They took good care of it. All these rubber pieces feel like new still. Be a bit of a puzzle. It's like, do you hook up the boot first? Do you get the carb in first? I find if you kind of have everything loose and put them all together at once, it seems to work best. Gotta make sure to hold this hose clamp or it'll spin on you. Same over here. A little loose. Tighten this just a bit. Yeah, it should be good. Exciting moment here. Let's get this bike off the stand, put it outside, see if it'll fire. The outside work spot. I don't like filling the garage up with exhaust. It makes it impossible to do anything in there. It takes forever to clear out. Seat back on. 40-to-1 mix. That fresh fuel in there. It's a big tank. Just put a little bit in for now. Tighten down the fuel line. Well, all it needed was a carb clean. This thing fired up first kick. I did see where the fuel leak was coming from though. Seems like this line is a little bad here. Seemed like we were leaking a little bit from the petcock. I'll take this off here and take a look at the seal. Yeah, look at that. Someone painted this tank. It's got a bunch of paint stuck to the bottom of it. That can't be good. Alright, let's get this cleaned up. Get some of this paint cleaned up. See if we can't stop the leak. Just try and be real gentle here. Try and not damage. Oh yeah, look at that. It's a big crack right here. That's got to be where it was leaking from. I mean, the paint doesn't help, but that crack definitely would leak fuel. Just kind of checking here. The rubber seems okay. It doesn't seem super hard. Just want to get all this paint off. Yeah, look at this crack. It's huge. Just a little bit more of this paint. Yeah, that's cleaning up nice. Let's take a look at the bottom side of the tank now. Yeah, kind of the same deal. You got a bunch of flaky paint everywhere. It's just coming right off. Definitely need to clean this up a bit more. Looks like the tank off an IT. I wonder if this was like an YZ400 tank. And if you're gonna paint a tank like this, make sure to tape off these areas, especially around the petcock. You don't want loose paint like this. You can't see it anyway, it's on the bottom of the tank. Then you get the petcock in there, you can't see it at all. A little bit of oil resistant gasket maker. This should help fill up that crack. It's just a temporary fix. Eventually you're going to want to get a new oil O-ring on here. Try and get a nice layer. We don't want this thing leaking again. Yeah, I got that crack totally filled in. Try and spread this around. I don't want any of the gasket maker going into where the fuel goes. Just try and spread it evenly around the outside edge. Try and hold this real still when reinstalling it. Don't want to smear the gasket maker all over. Get these bolts tied down here. Yeah, of course. It doesn't fit on one side, you need the extension. It's always something. Get this fuel filter hooked back up. It's gonna have to dry for a bit. You don't want fuel getting to the gasket maker while it's still wet. That looks pretty clean though. I'm hopeful that this is going to work. While the gasket maker is drying up, let's check the air filter. Probably easier with the seat off. One more cover. Huh. It's got an air filter, that's good. It's not disintegrating or anything. It's got some oil on it. This bike was definitely cared for. It's not perfect, but try and scrape off some of this thick, goopy spots. Try and get a nice, even oiling of this thing. Probably replace the air filter, but this one's not too bad. Yeah, it's a little dirty, but this thing will work just fine. It just has these really... It's like when they oiled it, they didn't spread it around at all. Bunch of dog hair in here. Get some of this engine oil on here. I know they've got air filter oil. This is all we got for now. Spread it around real even. Cage looks like it's in good shape. Put the inner filter back in here. You want to get this piece of foam flat so it makes a nice seal. This inner filter looks like it's scrunched up a bit. Try and get this as good as we can. Oil up the outer filter. Yeah, get this spread around nice and even. Yeah, this will stop the sand. Pretty rare to get a bike this old and have all the air filters in here still. At least for me, it seems like every time I get one of these old bikes, at least part of the filter's missing. Yeah, that'll be a nice seal there. Put this cover back on. The air filter should be good to go. Gasket maker's still drying. Let's check the oil. Ah, it's on there tight. Ah, there's no need for this to be on there that tight. So I try to avoid using the 1/2 inch drive. With a 1/2 inch, you just get too much leverage. Oh, the oil looks new. Just not much of it. I wonder if this thing smokes like crazy. Kinda hard to tell with the 2-stroke. They always smoke like crazy. Don't want that too tight. Tells you right here how much oil to put in. 1100 cc's. Definitely didn't have that before. My measuring cup only goes to 500, so I'm gonna have to take a couple trips. Leave it short at 450. Measuring 100 is a little tougher than 2. Round 2, the 450 cc's. This out there. Buddy the helper. All right, final 200. Let's get this bike topped off. All right, now let's use the dipstick and see how it looks. Yep, plenty of oil now. All right, it was definitely low before. Very low before, actually. It's been a while. This gasket maker should be dry. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Right, the fuel's flowing, but it looks like there's another leak. Yeah, look in close here. You see this fuel line? Right around the top, it's cracked and it doesn't fit very well on this fuel filter. I'm just going to trim a little piece off. Alright, got the line trimmed. Let's see if this fits a little better. Oh yeah, it's a lot more snug here. Get this tightened down. Hopefully that's it for the fuel leaks. The line feels good overall. Alright, let's see. So far so good. I don't see any leaking yet. Let's tip it over. No? Nothing yet. Alright, I think we're good to try and start again. Nice and dry. I think that fixed. Weird rattle. Yeah, it looks like it's in the suspension here. Yeah, you hear that? Quiet. There it is again. I have to figure out what to do about that. This is out of here a bit. No leaks. Gonna have to take this thing for a ride. Well, the bike didn't take a whole lot of work, but it seems to be running good now. Let's get this thing out for a real test ride. See how she does in the desert. Thanks for watching the video, the YZ400E. We're going to get this thing out, see how well it rides. My guess is it runs pretty good. Back here with the part 2 from this Honda XR500 rebuild. The brake is not adjusted, so I don't really have any stopping power. This rear tire is rubbing on the muffler. You can see here, kind of on each of these knobs. Fresh seat cover. Here's the front sprocket, new chain guard gasket, chain guard from the XL. Got this canister for the air box. Here's the air filter element. We've got the side cover that covers the air box. Rear sprocket. The wrong skid plate came. This is the skid plate for an XL250. Just happens that I do have one of those, so I will be keeping that, not sending it back. But the wiring is still here, and I do have this extra light from an IT175, which is also a 6-volt light, which works out because this bike is a 6-volt system. And then we'll get this thing out to the desert and see what it can do. Take it to the lake bed, see what the top speed is.